Hello and welcome. Today is the 16th of June 2014 and Gaijin have announced that they will be closing the random matches in the simulator battles for air only. What it's going to be replaced by is partly events that already exist today, and this newly introduced mode where tank and planes participate in the same battle. The reaction from most people, most people who have expressed their opinions, at least on the forums, is very negative. In this video here, I have a very nice game that I will comment. And first off, I would like to say that the reason why people are so negative towards this mixed mode is because it's very difficult for planes. The anti-air is very effective and will take you down very quickly. They have Gaijin said that they have toned it down a little bit in one of the recent patches, adjusted it, and I think that's noticeable. On this map here I'm playing on Kuban. It's one of those maps with a very small ground playground, if I may say so. So it's very difficult to see things as a plane, and it's you fly very quickly over the area. So the key here to avoid anti-air is to avoid flying over it, simply. What you do is that you circle around your half of the ground. You dive down on the ground as you come close to it from the side in order to be able to see something on the ground. And you do maybe one pass to identify the enemy, and the next pass is to bomb the enemy. So I already did one bombing pass that failed. I can see here on the ground to my right that they are enemies. I can see that by the smoke. So these are AI controlled tanks, I think. Here I do another pass on them, a diving bomb. That's another one that misses. It's a close miss, but you have to be really precise in order to kill those tanks. I'm using the small bombs here, so it's 4 times 50 kilos, and I can do 2 bombing passes every session. Kuban is nice in the sense that the airfield is very close to the action on the ground, so if you're fast you can fly back to the airfield and rearm quickly and come back for another session. So it's important to understand how the games on the ground are being played. Usually there is an initial opening where there's very little point in trying to kill players on the ground, because they are very hard to find, really. The AI is easy to find because they always follow the same path, so after you play the map a few times and looked at the replays, that's a very important thing to do. You will identify the path that the AI is taking and in what locations they are and at what times. So in the opening phase of the game it's a good idea to focus on the AI units. So it's a good thing if you're able to fly and land quickly. You don't want to be spending too much time doing this. There are basically 2 methods to do it. You can come at max speed and fly over the field, as I did here, and then lose your speed during a hard turn. Or you can try to land directly and slowing down in advance, so that you don't have to do this little pass over the airfield like I'm doing. I think the second method is probably faster, but you need to know when to slow down. So I think that can be a bit of an issue here. I'm a bit worried about where we are going to get our players in mode from, because the dedicated flyers, pilots are going to ignore the mode, very likely for the majority of them, And the people who are coming into the mode as tankers are going to have a bit of trouble, because if you want to be effective in the air, you really need to have decent skills in all areas, not just flying and fighting, but also going back to base, landing, possibly landing a damaged aircraft, and then taking off again without colliding with anything near the runway. So that's a bit difficult to do for someone who has never really flown in simulator battles before. But we'll see how this turns out. So this is the method that I use to avoid taking too much damage from the anti-air. The anti-air now is kind of very mild on Kuban, I think, now, so it's very playable. But even when it was very harsh, there was still this basic method that you can use, is that you use speed and altitude to defend yourself. You approach the ground, the playground from a high altitude. You dive on it to do a very quick pass and in an attempt to detect enemy units. What I'm doing at this point here is that I'm circling around this blue smoke on our side here. This is B point. The enemy has A point, we have B point, but we're in a very bad situation because we don't have many people on the ground, and the enemy is probably going to get close to B point and start capping it. You see there's another player. I think we have 3 players in the air here. If you get an opportunity to bomb something, don't do it. I did it here. What I bombed was an anti-air. This specific one was really annoying me. It was always shooting at me. Well, that's feeling ahead at least, so disposing of it was very satisfying. But the problem now is that I only have 2 bombs left, only 1 run. And just as I made my bombing run on the anti-air here, I get a notification that there's an enemy that is capping B point. I'm not in a position to bomb B point here because I don't have a good approach vector. So I have to fly back, and while I'm doing this, the enemy is still capping the point. Fortunately, there is another guy in the sky who's seen the message and does a successful bombing run on the objective. So now the enemy has stopped capping B. My friend here used a very heavy bomb, I think, because he dropped the bomb in the middle of the objective, and he still managed to kill the tank that was on the periphery of the objective near the white line. Unfortunately, they have more people on the ground, so there's another group of 2 tanks that enters the B point, and it's now my turn to do a bombing run to try to stop the cap. It's important to be patient, see what you are going to bomb first. Because I'm using a small bomb, so I have to drop my bombs exactly on the tank in order to destroy it. And just as I dive on it, I see the enemies in time to see that they are close to this white bunker here. There's a bit of a problem in the game, is that you don't see the enemies before you are close to them, so you have to start to initiate your dive on the objective, and then do the last corrections as the units pop up. So the problem here is that there is another unit on the point, so they are still capping the point. If I hadn't bombed this anti-air, I would have 1 pair of bombs left, and I could have killed the second one. Fortunately, this guy here, we have 1 guy on the ground, and he managed to kill the last one on B point. And he stopped the cap at a very important point and captured B point again. And as he did it, we had 0 tickets left, literally speaking. We turned this game around when we had 0 tickets left. Then he went to A point, managed to find the guy who was defending it, killed him, and then started capturing A point. So now there's only 1 enemy left, and all he can do is come back in the air. He doesn't have any tanks anymore. And the poor guy comes back in a biplane, and he has 2 planes behind him. He doesn't stand a chance, really. We won't even have the time to kill him. A points is going to be capped quickly now that there is no resistance on the ground, and we will win this game. And as I said, we turned it really on the last moment. So that was a very exciting and very fun game, as you can have them sometimes in this mixed mode. I hope that more people will consider playing this mode. That was all for today. Thank you for watching, and bye.